too short
I'm
notice.
I am telling you gazillion hours before. Next time, you go.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It is 7:59, so I'm just going to talk for a minute
Yep.
just about logistics.
Get
So
everybody on board.
you may have seen I started recording. We'll edit out the first minute or two, so everything's fine. It will start when it's supposed to start. It's just so that I don't forget to start it. So we'll record in both languages, all set there. We're in the practice session. We'll go live after I do a little countdown. Before I make us live, do we have any last minute questions about how everything's working? Everyone have the permissions they need? Perfect. Just remind people that they can use the Q&A box through the session. I can help monitor that, but Manuel, I know you said you have another computer today, so you have another bigger screen to handle that.
Okay, hold on a sec.
I'll be here in the background with my mic and camera off, but I'm here listening, ready to hop in if and when needed. Do you anticipate needing me for anything? Do you want me to hop in when you're doing the Q&A to help triage questions? Do you want me to just be on standby in the background in case of emergency? Is there anything you want from me, in short?
For me to watch the Q&A, I just press whatever it says Q&A and I'll see the questions, right?
Yeah, so if you click Q&A now, it will say no open questions.
Yeah, no open questions.
And then as they're in, you'll start seeing them say answered or dismissed. Some of them, if people just use it to say hello or good night or something, I'll just dismiss it to clear it. Otherwise, I'll leave it open. And if it's, for example, as simple as attaching a link to regulations, just, reply with the link to the appropriate website, and then maybe make a verbal note saying, I've answered some questions in the Q&A. You should see the answers.
Okay, I think we should open now, Chris.
Yeah, so we're all good. No final questions?
Nope.
Perfect. I will start the webinar and make it live in 3,
Thank
2,
you, Chris.
1. Just give it like 30 seconds or so while people's computers connect.
Get up. Okay, good evening to everyone. I think we have almost, God almighty, more than 60 participants. You're welcome here to this new challenge that we have with regards to the new rules that Aqua has, I'm not going to say imposed, but has put in place from November 9 until probably 2028, 29. I know some of the rules are under revision. Maybe you could have received, or your federations did receive a link to answer some questions by a group of persons that are looking at ways to improve the new rules, see which ones have to be revised, see which ones are okay, see some of them that have to be eliminated or things like that, but we'll get that information later on. From now on until we get some other changes, we're applying the new rules and we're going to be talking about them today. Okay, if you have any questions, just go to the Q&A Don't go to the chat. At the bottom, you have Q&A. Please send your questions there, and I will be monitoring the questions, and I will let Mike or Mary Claude or myself, okay, to answer. Just in case, my name is Manuel de Jesus. For those who don't know me, I guess everybody knows me. I'm the chairperson of the Water Polo Committee. With me in your screen, you have Mike Dykman, member of the Water Polo Committee, and is working real hard with the referees. And we have the Honorable Secretary of my group, Mary Claude Delier. I hope I pronounced it right. Okay, without further ado, thank you very much. I hope this is helpful for everyone who has gazillion questions with regards to the new rules. One observation: we are not going to touch base deeply with the VAR and the coaches challenge. Both sections right now are under real revision. So whatever we say today, it might be changed, but there are no rules regarding the VAR. There are no rules regarding the coaches challenge. So as soon as we get the latest update of those rules, we'll let you know. Okay, so without further ado, I'll present you my good friend Mike Dykman, who will be in charge of the webinar. Remember, if you have any questions, go to the Q&A. Mike?
Hello, guys. Welcome. This is our second session on the rules, and today we'll be talking about the changes and application of changes. This presentation was put together by World Aquatics and WWR, so I would like to thank both organizations for allowing us to present this information to you guys. So what we're going to be talking about following things. There's new amendments and additions to the World Aquatic Technical Water Polo rules, which enforce. The amendments were applied according to specific regulations or to each tournament, and not all the amendments are real changes. Some of them are only confirmation and interpretation of existing rules. So today, we're going to be talking about following subjects: field of play, teams and players, substitutions, timeouts, method of scoring, ball possession times, wasting times, re-entry after exclusion, players leaving water, going underwater, improper and illegal players, taking of free throws, taking of penalty throws at the end of a period, clarified signalization for yellow and red cards, accident, injury, and illness. As Manuel says, we're not going to be discussing VAR and coaches challenge. It will be discussed in the future seminars in details, but not today. And we finish with penalty shootouts procedures. Again, if you have any questions, please enter in the Q&A section and we'll monitor it. And at the end of this presentation, we'll answer your questions. So first section is field of play. The big difference is on the men's side. Field of play changed from 30 meters to 25. So from now on, both men and women matches will be played in 25 meters by 20 meters. This diagram basically represents the only change is 25 meters from post to post. As you know, it is 2 meters, 5 meters, and 6 meters markers, and implementation of those markers has not changed. In regards to teams, so each team start list will consist of maximum 14 players now. Instead of 13, we're going to have 12 field players and 2 goalkeepers. Many teams, as you will notice, will have a third set of caps. It will be all red, but with numbers from 1 to 14, which will allow any player, if required, to become a goalie using his or her cup number, and we'll discuss more of that in future slides. At the start of the match, each team will have to start with 7 players, and one of whom must be a goalie. But following the start of the match, a team is not obliged to have a goalkeeper in the field of play, and they can choose play either with 6 players and a goalie or 7 players. In this example, we can see that we're starting after the timeout. White team decided to play with 7 players and no goalie, which is allowed. If during the game a team has no remaining eligible players, field players, the goalkeeper or substitute goalkeeper may play as a field player. At the same time, if team has no remaining eligible goalkeepers, then a field player may play as a goalkeeper wearing a red cap with the same number as a field player. This is the reason why the third set of caps is required if teams decide to do that. Now we're moving to substitutions. The substitute may enter the field of play from the exclusion and re-entry area as soon as the player has visibly risen to the surface of the water within the re-entry area. So this applies only to substitution, not to substitution of excluded player. Substitute and exiting player do not need to touch hands anymore above the water before substitution. If the player leaves the field of play through the exclusion and re-entry area or flying substitution area without being replaced by a substitute, the same player shall be permitted to re-enter the field of play from the same exclusion, re-entry area, flying substitution. So this is the big change, because in the past, if player exits through flying substitution area, exclusion area, and there is no substitution, that player is not allowed to come back in. And if he or she does, then that player would be excluded. Timeouts. The attacking team coach is also allowed to call a timeout during time between a penalty throw has been awarded in his favor and taking a penalty throw. In this situation, both teams are allowed to make substitutions during the timeout, and play restarts by taking a penalty throw. Even if timeout was requested before taking a corner throw, the play will restart on a half or behind half distance line, as per that example. Now we're moving to the method of scoring. A goal may be scored by one of the following alternative ways. At the start or restart of the game, after at least 2 players of either team, but excluding the defending goalkeeper, intentionally played or touched the ball. Also from a penalty throw, if a player throws the ball from a free throw into the player's own goal, from an immediate shot from a goal throw or corner throw, or from an immediate shot on a free throw taken by a player outside of 6 meters, except restarting after the goal, a timeout, a neutral throw, after the referee calls for the ball, for an injury, replacement of a cap, or any other reasons, or when the ball leaves the side of the field of play. According to rules, the location of the ball outside 6 meters becomes the only requirement to score a goal by immediate shot, not the location of the foul. And we'll discuss it more details in the future, but right now, again, it doesn't matter where the foul occurred. If ball is outside 6 meters, the player is allowed to shoot. By a player who is visibly puts the ball into play from a corner throw or outside 6 meters, from a goal throw, after a swim up or the commencement of a period, after a timeout or a goal, after an injury, after replacement of a cap, after the referee calls for the ball or calls for neutral throw, when the ball leaves the side of the field of play, taking a free throw, after any other delays. According to the rules, even if the foul was committed inside 6 meters, an attacker can score the goal by shot after putting into play the ball outside of 6 meters. So again, it's not the location of the foul, it's the location of the ball and the player with the ball.
Mike, I think there is very important. Sometimes it's not, can you score from a direct free throw? You have to understand there's sometimes you can do and sometimes you cannot do from a direct shot. Sometimes you need to put the ball in play. But the last one that Mike mentioned is very important because that's a total change of the rules. The foul can be inside 6 meters. But if you move outside 6 meters, you can take the shot.
Correct, and
But that
that's a
has to
big
be
change.
immediately. That has to be immediately. It's not like I'm going to waste time. And please understand, if I'm inside 5 meters and I put the ball in play and move outside 6 meters, the defense can attack me. I don't have to wait because I already put the ball in play. And there's no undue delay of putting the ball in play. So that has to be quick, but like Mike mentioned, it's not where the foul was committed. Now, if you're inside 6 meters, you can move outside 6 meters and take the shot, and the goal is good.
Yes, and we're
And
gonna see those examples in the future, and I will explain you when we get to that point. Thank you, Manuel. Again, if you have any questions, please post them, and we will answer after presentation is completed. So here's a couple examples. So defender is excluded in the center forward position without the ball. After referee completes the signalization of exclusion foul, the attacker holding the ball outside of 6 meters, right there, scores a goal by an immediate shot after visibly taking the throw. Okay, so again, the exclusion happened in the center, and the player with the ball outside 6 meters, that player can shoot immediately on the net and score. It's allowed. Also, a goal can be scored by a player who visibly puts the ball into play inside 6 meters and swims outside 6 meters. This is important. The ball has to be put in play. You cannot just swim with the ball. And it can be done after injury, after the referee calls for the ball or calls for neutral throw, when the ball leaves the side of the field of play, taking a free throw after any added delay. And according to the rules, the attacker with the ball must swim, putting his or her head outside of 6 meters before shooting, even after faking or swimming inside or outside 6 meters and scoring a valid goal. The key thing here is ball needs to be played before you can move outside of 6 meters for a shot. In this case, the free throw is awarded with the ball inside 6 meters. Attacker visibly puts the ball in play inside 6 meters and swims outside 6 meters before shooting and scoring the goal. What's important is for referee to raise an arm to indicate the shot from outside 6 meters is allowed. In the past, we just raised the arm when the player and the ball were outside 6 meters, but again, now we're allowing player to move from inside of 6 meters to outside 6 meters. So when player is in shooting position inside of 6 meters, that arm needs to go up so player knows they can shoot. Now we'll discuss possession time. So the big change is on the men's side. The possession time went from 30 seconds down to 25 seconds. On the women's side, possession time still 30 seconds. So when do possession time changes to 30 seconds to 25 seconds? When defending team takes possession of the ball, when the ball is put into play by neutral throw, or following the taking of a penalty throw with a change of possession. What's important is the change of possession. If the last minute of the game a penalty throw is awarded to the team and the coach elects to maintain possession of the ball, then they get the full 25 or 30 seconds possession. Now possession or second possession time has changed to 15 seconds from 20 seconds. New possession of attacking team following a shot after rebounding on the goalpost, player, or goalkeeper. Restarting by awarding an exclusion foul against the defending player unless there is more than 15 seconds, in which case the time shall continue and not to be reset. And that's important. So if team has 17 or 20 seconds of possession, they will not lose those 5 seconds. They will keep their time. When the ball is put into play by corner throw or following the taking of penalty throw without a change of possession. When the ball leaves the field of play through the sidelines, a result of deliberate action by defender or the blocking of a shot by defending goalkeeper. So there's a couple situations. In this example, there's a defender who intercepts the pass and just pushes the ball outside of field of play, which is deliberate action by defender, and attacking team maintains the ball. The play restarts by a free throw in favor of the attacking team, and possession time resets to 15 seconds. Again, just to mention, if attacking team had more than 15 seconds, they'll maintain their time, possession time. After a shot, the ball leaves the field of play through the sideline due to blocking by defender goalkeeper. The play restarts by free throw in favor of the attacking team, and possession clock gets reset to 15 seconds. Wasting time rules. Wasting time rules have changed. So wasting time as it was is deleted and replaced by a new interpretation, which punishes as ordinary foul only the behavior of the team which deliberately gives up possession of the ball. The following actions are not allowed, still not allowed. A player who throws the ball away and refuses to play. A player who leaves the ball not in possession of both teams and swims away, refusing to play. And we're going to see examples next. A player who intentionally hits the swimming pool ceiling with the ball. All the previous situations are examples of deliberately giving up possession of the ball. So in this case, possession clock is running down. Offensive team doesn't have a good shot. Ball is being thrown in the corner. Action is not allowed. The player restarts by a free throw in favor of defending team, and possession time reset either 25 seconds for men or 30 seconds for women. In this example, same thing, clock is running down. Attacker just leaves the ball and swims away. Action not allowed. The play restarts by a free throw in favor of defending team, and possession time is reset to either 25 or 30 seconds. The following actions are now allowed, which is a big change from previous rules. The goalkeeper or any other attacking player is the only player of the team in that team's half of the field, and the ball is passed from the other half to that player. It is allowed. An attacking player swims with the ball from the offensive half over the half line back to his or her defensive line. An attacker holding the ball remains in the same position of the field of play without making any movement or showing intention to attack. Okay, in this example, we can see that all players except the attacking goalie cross the half, and then one of the attacking players passes the ball back to the goalie, which is allowed. In this example, attacking player swims with the ball from the offensive half over the half line back to his or her defensive half, which is allowed now too. And in this case, you can see that attacking player just sitting with the ball without playing it, without making any movement or any intention to attack. It is allowed now. Re-entry after exclusion. Before a substitute enters according to the rule, the excluded player must immediately leave the field of play at any place, not leaving the water, and move to the exclusion and re-entry area, visibly rising to the surface of the water nearest the player's on goal line without interfering with the play. So basically right now, excluded player can go through fly on a fly substitution. They can go behind the net. As long as they don't leave the water, they can leave the field of play and then move to the exclusion area. Excluded player and substitute do not need to touch hands anymore above the water before the entry of the substitute. The main thing is that exclusion time needs to be expired or defensive team gets possession of the ball before the player can move in, get in the field of play. Players leaving the water. A player leaving the water during the play, other than following the entry of a substitute or sitting or standing on the steps or side of the pool during the play, will be punished under misconduct rule, except in case of accident, injury, illness, or with the permission referee. Same section exclusion from the remainder of the game is applied to a player, excluded or not, leaving the water during play. Going underwater. So going underwater can be punished either by, sorry? Okay, please put yourself on mute if you're talking. So going underwater is punished either by ordinary fall or exclusion fall. So ordinary fall, when there is a physical contact between opposing players and one of them goes underwater to take a positional advantage. Exclusion fall as a kind of impeding if a defender goes underwater, hindering the position of an opponent. So this is a big change too, because in the past, many times when defender goes underwater to get positioning, it was not called, and it takes the good position and good advantage away from offensive player. So right now, if defender player does it, that's an exclusion foul. Improper and illegal player. An illegal player, as an eighth player or player already excluded from the remainder of the game participating in the play, is still punished by penalty foul. The penalty throw shall be taken with 7-on-7 players in the field of play after removing the offending player from the field of play, including by immediate substitution if needed. So here's an example. During the play, the player comes in, number eight player comes in to the field of play. Play restarts when the blue team taking a penalty throw. That player has to leave the field of play, and penalty shot will take place when 7 players aside present. During the play, a white team player with 3 personal foul, even though if red flag was raised, enters the field of play. The play restarts with the blue team taking a penalty throw, and again at 7-on-7, after removing the player with 3 personal fouls from the field of play, allowing an immediate substitution. An improper player is an even excluded player who re-enters or substitute who enters the field of play without wearing the cap or following rules. There's a number of rules, and basically if player pushes off the side or raises the rope or changes the alignment of a net, in all the situation, penalty foul will be called against that player. The improper entry or re-entry of a player is punished as penalty foul, no matter if the team of the improper player has possession of the ball or not. Again, the play restarts by taking a penalty throw with 7-on-7 players in the field of play. If this occurs as the re-entry from the exclusion with the period of the exclusion not expired, the offending player must leave the field of play before taking a penalty throw. A player or his substitute shall be permitted to re-enter after, at the expiration of the period of an exclusion, or when the excluded player team has retaken possession of the ball or a free throw, goal throw, or penalty throw is awarded in favor of his or her team. Except in the circumstances under a violent action rule, in which case the improper player or substitute shall be permitted to re-enter only at the expiration of a period of the exclusion, which is 4 minutes. And there's a couple examples. So in this case, we see that player is going out, let's say 1 meter from a goal line, and substitute comes in at 3 or 4 meters out. So substitute should be present in vicinity of a player who moves out to be substituted. It cannot take, like the way I see it in this case, the player's substitute is very close to defender, which will allow him to get better defending position when he comes in. So both players have to be at the same distance, at the same line when substitution takes place. In this case, we see that white team player leaves the field of play through the end of line and immediately re-enters the field of play through the same line without going to the penalty box. The player restarts with the blue team taking a penalty throw, and we still have 7-on-7 players in the field of play. During this play, an excluded white team player leaves the field of play and his or her substitute re-enters at the expiration of 15 seconds before the excluded player reaches the exclusion area. The player restarts with the blue team taking a penalty throw, but we do have 7-on-7 in the field of play because exclusion time has expired. So we're going to allow a player to be inside in the field of play when the penalty throw is taking place. The excluded white team player re-enters before 15 seconds exclusion time expired. The defending player must leave the field of play before taking a penalty throw, and that player can come in only after either a goal is scored or possession time has expired. Sorry, exclusion time has expired and the player was waved in by the secretary. Now we'll talk about taking the free throws. It was clarified that when there's a counterattack, a player does not have to give up the advantage to go to get the ball and take the free throw. The second closest player to the ball can take the throw as long as there is no undue delay. And the important thing is there is no undue delay. And let's look at a couple examples. So in this situation, an ordinary foul is called in favor of defending blue team. As you can see, that blue player is ahead of the ball and he doesn't need to give up an advantage. The second blue player, which comes from behind the ball, can take the ball and play it. It's allowed, and it's a good play. An ordinary foul is called in favor of defending blue team, but in this case, the first and the second players are swimming on a counterattack and allowing the goalie to come and pick up the ball. This is not allowed. The second player, who is behind the ball, needs to swim towards the ball and play the ball. We cannot allow, that's again, it comes to under delay. We cannot allow the second player swim past the ball also and let the goalie to swim towards the ball. Next section is taking of a penalty throws. If at the taking of penalty throw, the goalkeeper moves forward before the referee blows the whistle, and the player takes the shot and goes unscored, the goalkeeper shall be excluded according to the rules, and the penalty throw shall be retaken. Like we can see in this example, goalie moves forward before the referee blows the whistle, player takes a shot, goal is not scored, not allowed, goalkeeper shall be excluded, and a penalty shot should be retaken. Penalty throws at the end of a period. If at precisely the same time as referee awards a penalty throw, the timekeeper whistles for the end of a period, all players except the player taking the throw and the defending goalkeeper shall leave the field of play, entering the respective flying substitution areas before the penalty throw is taken. And what's important is players have to stay in the water. They cannot leave the water until after the shot is taken. As we can see in this diagram, all the players except the shooter and the goalie are in the flying substitution areas respectively to their sides, and that's what they have to be until after the shot is taken. Now we'll talk about personal fouls, yellow cards, and red cards. Upon receiving a third personal foul, a player is excluded from the remainder of the game with substitution after the earliest occurrence as per rules and must sit in a specific area designed near the bench if available. So basically, what Aqua is doing now is there's another bench a couple meters behind the player's bench, and when player has 3 personal fouls and they cannot participate in the game anymore, they do not sit on the team bench. They have to sit on the bench behind the team bench. The same thing, they have to have their cap on and just watch the game. Now we talk about a few clarification in regards to yellow and red cards when they're given to players, coaches, team officials, and teams. So first one is the yellow card shown pointing with one arm parallel to the sideline towards the bench of the team sanctioned as one or more players do following: persist in playing in a supporting manner or engage in simulation, or persist in repeated fouls other than aggressive play and misconduct, or protest referee or official decision without the use of acceptable language. Basically, as we all know, the individual players cannot receive yellow cards, but the team can receive yellow cards as warning that if same conduct perceives, then that player will be excluded for the game. Again, what we do is we raise the yellow card and we point to the bench, so secretary knows that this is a team warning. If yellow card shown pointing to with one arm in the direction of the head coach, it means that head coach was officially warned. And a red card is shown pointing with one arm in the direction of the head coach or the team official or player to indicate the person who must leave the pool area immediately, or as additional signal in case of exclusion of a player from the remaining of the game in the circumstances. So basically, if there is a misconduct called or violent action called, then signal goes first and you follow with red card. But if card goes to head coach or another official or the player directly, red card goes up and you point at the person who've been awarded red card. Accident, injury, and illness. So there's a couple changes here too. If accident, injury, illness other than bleeding occurs, a referee at the referee's discretion may briefly suspend the game, ordering the immediate substitution of the injured player if needed. So what it means by referee discretion, usually if there's no advantage, it could be called right away, but if there's a play in progress, there's advantage, referees will wait till the first attack is completed. And if goal, no goal, then referee gonna call the game, gonna immediately substitute the player and continue the play after that. After recovering, the player is permitted to be a substitute in the ordinary course of the game. Big thing is that referee is not allowed to suspend the game for 3 minutes any longer. Again, the substitution should be quick, either right away or within or right after the first attack, and we continue play. In case of bleeding, referee shall immediately order the player out of the water with immediate entry or substitute, and the game shall continue without interruption. After bleeding has stopped, the player is permitted to be a substitute in the ordinary course of the game. And there are a few more clarifications. Simultaneous awards of corner and goal throws. Well, simultaneous awards are made by both referees, and one is for goal throw and the other is for cone of throw. The cone of throw shall be applied unless otherwise determined by VAR review, if applicable. Okay, we're not going to talk about VAR protocol. Again, we will cover VAR protocol and coaches challenge in details in the next seminars. Penalty shootout protocol. 5 shooters from each team must remain in the field of play in the respective team halves and out of the 6-meter line without hanging on the lane ropes. Substitute goalkeeper can remain on the bench or, before the start of penalty shootouts procedure, may stay in the opposite side of the benches out of field of play and out of 6 meters in their designated area before the start of PSO. After the end of 3 minutes break, penalty shootouts will start immediately. If the two teams are ready before the 3 minutes expire, the referee can stop the standing clock and start PSO game earlier. Exclusion of goalkeeper for failing to take up a position. If during the shootout procedure the defending goalkeeper fails to take up the correct position on the goal line, at the taking of penalty throw have been ordered once to do so by referee. So basically, again, the first time we warn the goalkeeper, if goalkeeper still not lined up properly, then goalkeeper is being excluded. The player from the 5 players participating in penalty shootouts may take the position of the goalkeeper, but without the goalkeeper privileges. And following the taking of a penalty throw, the goalkeeper or a substitute shall be permitted to re-enter except as a third personal foul. So what's important here is after goalkeeper is excluded, that any player and only player from 5 players in the water take his or her position without privileges of a goalie. Exclusion of goalkeeper from moving before the referee whistle. If at the taking of penalty throw, the goalkeeper moves forward before the referee blows the whistle, and the player takes the shot and goes unscored, the goalkeeper shall be excluded and the penalty throw shall be retaken. A player from the 5 players participating in the penalty shootouts may take position of the goalkeeper, but without the goalkeeper's privilege. Following the taking of penalty throw, the goalkeeper or a substitute shall be permitted to re-enter except in the circumstances as per the rule. For example, if it's his third offense and then he needs to be replaced by a substitute. Oh, yeah. Exclusion from remainder of the game for a goalkeeper. If a goalkeeper is excluded from remainder of the game, for example, for protesting referee's decision during the penalty shootout, a player from 5 players participating in the penalty shootouts may take the position of the goalkeeper, but without goalkeeper privileges. Following the taking of penalty throw, the excluded goalkeeper may be substituted by a substitute goalkeeper or alternative goalkeeper if substitute goalkeeper is not entitled or able to participate, who shall wear the goalkeeper cap. Okay, so this is, we're not going to talk about challenge. So this is the end of presentation. Manuel, do we have question answer?
Yeah, no, there are 2 or 3 things. By the way, can you go back to the outline, the first slide you had, where you had an outline?
Okay.
Okay. Or a summary what we're gonna discuss. That's good, because I would love to, because I have the question slide here, or the screen here, and I see no questions. So either you did a super duper amazing job, which I know you did, but I know there's some questions. Please take a look at the summary of the topics that were discussed, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You can ask in Spanish, in English, not in French. That's Marico's side, not mine. But if you have any questions, please do so. While you think about writing questions, there are many things that I'm not going to say they're going to change, but they are being discussed. And I would love to be open with you, but these things are like a work in progress. There's no decision been taken. So don't quote me that, oh, Manuel said that this is going to happen. No, but it might happen. We can go back, maybe we can go back to possession time. Instead of 15 seconds, go back to 20. On the men's side, instead of 25, we might go back to 30 or 28 or 27 or 26. Those are the things that are being discussed. Some people have suggested that, okay, so from now on, okay, I have a question. Sandra, let me finish with my thought, and thank you very much. I'll get to your question very soon. Some people have suggested getting rid of the overtime. Let's go back to old school. At 1/4 or 4 minutes or 5 minutes or sudden death, there are people that are talking about having the half, instead of 3 minutes, being 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. So I don't know why. But I mean, those things are being discussed. So that's why, if the link is still open, have your federations or everybody. This was open to everybody: coaches, players, assistant coaches, managers, everybody. We want to hear, or this group wanted to hear from everybody's position. Okay, Santa is asking, so from now on, has to be an extra bench no matter what. Yes. Don't ask me. You have that bench. And if and only if you have 3 fouls, 3 major fouls, you go sit down on that bench. Period. That is, okay, that is not for the red card. Red cards, gone, adios. But for 3 personal fouls, you sit there. It is not clear, or it hasn't been stated clear, if that quote unquote penalty box, or whatever you want to call it, penalty bench, if the player can come in during the timeout. It's not being cleared, because when you have 3 fouls and you're sitting on the bench and a timeout is called, you can come in. Nobody notices, but you can come in. Now, if you're at the penalty box, we need to see. But yes, now you have the bench and the mini bench. Where is that bench located? Wherever you have an open space, not in the field of play, either behind your bench or somewhere where it's not in the field of play. Okay, so Sandra, thank you very much for the question, and please, I have the questions here. So,
And as
let me see.
Manuel mentioned, the rules are being updated, modified, not the rules, but interpretation, and changed. What Aqua is trying to do is make the game more exciting, faster, and facilitate the offensive teams. So that's why there's a wasting time has changed, right? That's why when exclusion happens, how many times we saw that players had to get to penalty box by swimming through the field of play, and number of times they've excluded for just for being there, interfering with the play. So now, for example, a player can leave the field of play anywhere, behind the net through the flying substitution. As long as the player doesn't leave the water, they can move out and then move to the penalty box and be there waiting for substitute if required. Same thing when going underwater. We talked about it, right? How many times we throw that, especially in the center, when center defender goes underwater and all of a sudden pops up in front of a center, and now pass cannot happen, and the center has to fight his or her way through it. Now it's exclusion. You cannot do that. If you want to get in front of the defender, sorry, the center, swim around, stuff like that. Penalty throws, the same thing, right? Or improper entry. Improper entry in the past was another foul and you have to go to penalty box. Now you don't. You still have a mark against you, but if exclusion time, for example, expired and you went in improperly, you still in the water. Penalty shot takes you 7-on-7. There's no disadvantaged defensive team. So there's number, the same thing with accident and injury. There's no 3 minutes timeout. We're trying to speed the game out when is appropriate. We're going to substitute injured player. Player can still come in when time comes, when player feels better and get substituted properly. There's a number of different things. Like I don't want to go through them over and over again, but there's a number of changes, which again, Aqua has been they monitor through every event, not just Aqua event. They monitor our events, PAQ events, the country events, and they're looking for feedback. And the last PanAm competition, when Tomasz was here, there was a meeting, kind of discussion, what's working, what's not. So they're listening. They looking what's in the best interest of the game, and that's how changes are being applied.
Okay, Mike, I have 2 questions. First question, if an excluded player being replaced, the substitute can enter wherever he wants just after the period of the excluding time?
Correct. So, okay, so when excluded player has to go to penalty box, right? Excluded
Yes.
player cannot substitute through the on-the-fly substitution. So you go to penalty box, your substitute is there. As soon as the 15 seconds of penalty time expired, or if defensive team regains possession of the ball, the player can come in. You don't have to high five anymore, but 2 players have to visibly rise in the penalty box.
Okay, another question is, but you mentioned the player leaving the field of play. Okay, either through the side or through the goal area.
Okay.
When can that player come back in?
Are we talking about substitution for exclusion or just a substitution on a
No,
fly?
just a regular player. Manuel was playing and he, by accident or whatever, left the field of play.
Oh, okay. So when you leave the field of play, there are 2 things. Your substitute can come in as soon as you go underneath the rope and pop up on the other side. Or if substitute is not there, Manuel can go right back in.
If I go through the flying substitution area, right?
Right. You can
Okay,
go.
what if I leave the field of play in the goal area, the goal line?
You have to get either to the penalty box to substitute or to flying substitution area without leaving water.
Okay. Okay, hope
Does it
that
make sense?
answers that. Okay, another question said, well, how many timeouts you have per game? It's still 2.
Yes. The difference is that now coach can call timeout after his team was awarded a penalty shot, as before it wasn't allowed. So now coach can put his best shooter in the water if he wishes.
And that is under under revision.
Yeah, as many other things.
That's been thought about. I mean, there are many things that have been, and once again, if you have a chance to see the questionnaire and get into it, because there are many questions, and it allows you to tell, okay, if you say yes, it's okay, but if you say no, you disagree, why do you disagree? So you can give your opinion, okay, on why you think it should be instead of 25 seconds, 20 seconds, or 15 seconds, or 10 seconds, or whatever. I mean, there are many things that are evolving. The only situation is that these many changes in such a short period of time, it takes time to adjust. And also, because I was approached by a federation, they have a tournament. They have a U14 and a U16 tournament. And they were thinking about not necessarily using the new rules. They're going to use the 25 meters. But then by the time of possession, that is something every federation can adjust to whatever they feel it's necessary for their level or their understanding or whatever you want to do. But in international events, like in Medellin, the U17 event, we're going to use the aqua rules as they are. No adjustments. So if you're going to get your players adjusted to the new rules, you might as well use the new rules, because we are going to use the new rules. We're not going to change that. Okay. Let me see. Somebody else has more questions. Excellent. International with recent World Cup tournament, Champions League. What is the most common mistake in the code with many? Oh my God. That's a deep question. The question is, what is the most common quote unquote mistake or different interpretation of the calls that referees make?
I would say it's the exclusion without the ball in the goal area. That's what has been a little struggle in the past years.
Exclusion without the ball in the goal area. To be impeding or just whatever.
Just exclusion in the center when the ball is somewhere else.
Okay.
So having to stop, call the exclusion, call the number, and then say that you like play the ball. That's I think the most struggling.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, there's a question. Is the presentation available? Unfortunately, this is a WWR presentation, and they have cordially asked us not to share it. We did use it with their permission, but I mean we're not allowed to share it with anyone. So I apologize. Okay, it says okay, now a coach can call a timeout for subbing let's say getting somebody to take the penalty shot. You have to wait until, yes, you have, but you have to wait until the minute is gone. It's not like I'm gonna call a timeout, I'm gonna sub for the shooter on adios. No, you have to wait until the full minute is done. Okay? And then, okay, and any other questions? I don't see any other. Oh, yes, one more. Thank you. They're thanking us for the excellent presentation. Puerto Rico and Mexico are doing so. You're welcome. This is for you all. I mean, but we want you to ask as many questions as you can. I found out today that I'm going to the World Cup final on the men's side in April. So I'll be there up close and personal with, with the newest interpretations of the rules. So as soon as we get the newest interpretation of the rules, I will get back to you. But we want you to be updated as much as possible, not only with the new rules, with the interpretation of all the rules. And that's why we're gonna have, I think it's 3 more webinars, if I'm correct. Please, Mike and MC, if you can correct me. And we're gonna go through different
3 more.
topics. 2 more?
3 more. 3 more.
Okay. Which are we're gonna take 3 different topics, and we are going to use videos on this one. Probably in April, I'll be able to get videos for the new rules. But for the next webinars, we are gonna put videos, and you're gonna have to be able to be ready to interpret those things. I have an issue with possession time. If we can, okay, if we can leave it beside us or throw it to the corner, what would be, okay. Okay, just in case, Sandra, the rules are set before Medellin and after Medellin. Okay, I have an issue with the possession time. If we can't leave it beside us or throw it to the corner, what would be the best action in that case? It all depends on best action for who. The best action for the offensive team that's going to dump the ball. I mean, that's real hard. Technically, whatever you decide is the best thing to do, because it all depends on your position, where the ball is. So I would not say, referee wise, I wouldn't have a correct answer or how to answer that one. Okay, and any more questions, guys? Please, got plenty of time. This
Yeah,
one's
guys.
for you. This is a chance. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, this is a seminar for you guys, so please ask questions. The more the better. We're going to try to answer all of them.
Every question is a good question. There's no, sorry for my language, there's no dumb question. Please, don't be afraid to ask. We're here to answer every question, because maybe you stick up with the questions and, oh my God, I should have asked this. And then I don't have an opportunity to get an answer until whenever. Okay, so make sure that you ask. That's what we're here for. We're here to answer all your questions. Let me see. Nobody's daring to answer the questions. I mean, or everybody went to sleep, or we got them here. They're all here. Okay, Mike, do you have the sign there? Before I go, do we have MC? Do we have the WWR slide?
It's on.
Presentation?
It's on now.
Yeah, it's on now.
Okay.
Put it up.
Can you?
Can you see it?
Oh, no, I still see maybe it's somebody else who can see it, but I cannot see it. No, I still see the go out and go in.
Okay.
Unshare that presentation, Mike.
Okay. All right.
Get out of that presentation and put the WWR presentation.
Okay, what do you see now?
I see it.
Okay, Marie-Claude sees it.
Okay, you all see it, but maybe it's me, but in neither one of my computers, I can see the WWR presentation. But if somebody can tell us if they're seeing the WWR presentation, or you can talk. I mean, you're allowed to talk.
Right now, you should be
But
able to see the information for WWR and with the URL www.pra.org.
no, that okay. If that's a slide, yes, I can see that
Yeah,
slide.
that's
I
the
thought they
promotion site, yes.
okay. I thought they sent a presentation. That's yes.
No, this is it.
Well, can you put the back again the summary, please?
Sure. Okay,
Okay. Take one last look. Later on, like Mike mentioned, we're going to talk about VAR protocol, and we're going to talk about the
Coach's Challenge.
coaches challenge. I think we have one more questions. Okay, please review one more time. 6 meters. I guess the foul inside outside 6 meters, Sandra.
Oh, sure, I can do that. So
Yes.
Sandra, when there's a foul inside of 6 meters, then player needs to play the ball like they always do, but then a player has a choice. They can just pass the ball, or they can swim outside of 6 meters and then shoot on the net. If the foul is inside of 6 meters, but ball and a player are outside of 6 meters, that player can perform immediate shot on net, or that player can play the ball and plays regularly. So basically now there's no, it's not what the foul is, but what the ball is. That's what we go by. And as it was mentioned in previous slides, as long as your head is outside of 6 meters, you're allowed to shoot. It doesn't need to be whole body. It just, as long as your head is outside of 6 meters, you can pick up the ball and shoot. Does it make sense?
Okay. While Sandra answers, I have another question. When the ball is blocked by the goalkeeper or a field player and it goes out to the side, not through the goal line, who has possession?
Okay, so if white team shoots and blue goalkeeper blocks the shot and goes to the side, it's still white team ball. When white team shoots and the blue defender blocks the shot and it goes to the side, it's a blue team ball. But the difference is if blue player intentionally throws the ball over the side, for example, a white team player passes to his teammate and blue defender jumps up and redirects the pass. In this case, it's not a shot. In this case, it's a pass, and white team maintains the possession of the ball with 15 seconds on the clock if there is less than 15 seconds left in possession. Did it answer your question?
Okay. I'll wait until the person answers. Okay, I'm not gonna say the name. Somebody might that you know, MMC knows. If a referee makes a mistake and calls a delay of game, well, that's not a rule anymore. Can we protest? Go ahead, guys. It's
I
somebody
guess.
you know, so it's very close to you all. So I'm not gonna say the name. but it's good to have him.
I saw the name.
Yeah, good friend of ours. Great
It's a
to have
coach,
him.
it's a coach question. No,
Yes,
no,
and good
no
to
question.
have him. I mean,
So-
I deeply
so-
appreciate it.
So yes, it would be protestable because it's not in the rule anymore. But we're going to make sure this kind of call does not happen. So the referees will know from now on, it's not in the rule anymore. There's no wasting time rule anymore.
Yeah, but the question is what if it happens?
Yeah. So yes, it is protestable.
It's violation of the rule. Because there's no rule regarding that.
Yep.
Okay. There's another question. If the ball is outside 6-meter area, but the shot was taken inside, is it goal or no goal?
If the ball is outside 6 meters, the
No,
shot.
the foul
will take-
is outside,
Oh yeah,
but the shot occurred inside.
yeah. Ball needs to be outside of 6 meters.
Okay.
So
With the
if
new
ball is
6-meter
inside,
rule,
if foul is at 6.5 meters, but ball drifted to 5.5 meters, you cannot shoot.
okay,
You can-
with the new 6-meter rule, if the second player who did not receive the foul takes the free throw from 5 meters, but the ball is outside 6 meters, is the goal valid? Well, that's a tricky question because okay, I'm trying to understand the question.
With the news.
So the ball is
If the
foul.
second player who did not receive the foul takes the free throw from 5 meters, but
Okay.
the ball is outside 6 meters. Okay, let's say if I understand correctly. Okay, Mary Claude receives a foul, but Manuel picks up the ball inside 5 and moves outside 6 meters. And I take the shot. Is it a goal?
Yes, it's a goal. It's the player who was fouled doesn't have to play the ball. Whoever's close to the ball can play it.
Yes, remember now, what we have to keep in mind is it's not the foul which needs to be inside the 6 meter or outside. It's the ball now. The ball in this situation is outside. You're good to shoot.
Yes, like so basically Marie Claude is fouled, but I'm right beside her. So I pick up the ball and I pass it to Manuel, who is inside 6 meters. He can shoot right away. It doesn't have to be Marie Claude who passes the ball. Manuel, that was the question, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And then when a foul is inside 6 meters, the referee doesn't raise the hand. The referee raises the arm when the player moves outside 6 meters. Okay, the foul is inside. I don't raise my arm. If the player moves outside, then I do raise my arm,
Right.
saying
Yeah.
that's eligible to take a shot. Also, Nadine shared with us the link where the presentation is at. We were asked for us, for PAQ not to share it, but if somebody else is sharing it, that's okay with us. The more the merrier.
Yes, that's the thing. It is accessible to the WWR members. So that's why WWR asked us not to share it as PAQ's representative. But if you guys are members, you're welcome to go and see it.
Okay. Okay. Please, any other questions? Feel free to ask. Okay, I know for the next 3 webinars, we're gonna be getting into more deep detail in many of the areas that are quote unquote confusing, or like somebody asked today, what is the interpretation? What is the official interpretation? Which way are we going? Are we going this way? Are we going that way? How is Aqua dealing with the interpretations? What is Aqua doing right now with the referees? The new tendency for Aqua is not to have meetings with the referees. After remember that the game is over and we met with the referees afterwards. Aqua is not doing that anymore. Okay, they're giving me access to the videos of the game and with the evaluations of each of the delegates. So we're gonna see how that works in April. I'll be able to see firsthand how does that works. Okay, and I'll make sure to share it with you. I have another question. Yes, at the start of the game, yes, you need to have a goalkeeper. So far, so good. Afterwards, everything goes. You can have 7 players, field players, or you can have 6 field players and 1 goalkeeper.
I just posted that slide.
Okay, so that's the way the cookie crumbles. There's no more. There's no other way. Either you have 7 players or you have 6 players and 1 goalkeeper. One more thing, and make sure that you tell your coaches. Instead of 13, now there are 14 players. The rosters can be made up of the team roster. Okay? Can be made up of 15, and some schools are saying that we can stretch it to 16 players, but don't quote me on that. So far, the maximum of players on a roster is 15. But you need to have at least 2 goalkeepers. If you're going to have the official team roster, or game roster, not team roster, game roster is 14 players. You need, within those 14 players, you need to have 2 goalkeepers. Okay? Make sure that you tell your coaches. If we don't have 14 players, then that's another story. You can go with 1 goalkeeper. But please bring your extra red caps, because you're not going to be allowed to switch 1 through 13. No. If you want another person to be the goalkeeper, it will use their original number, but in red. So, 14 players in your game roster. 2 of them goalkeepers. Another thing, what if on my 15 team roster, not game, team roster, can I bring 3 goalkeepers? Yes, you can. But that 3rd goalkeeper has to wear a red cap. Okay, that's within the new rules. So 14, 2 goalkeepers. 15, you can have 3 goalkeepers if you want. That'd be strange, but yes, you can. But that extra person has to wear a 15 red. So you have 1, 13, and 14 or 15 with a red cap. And that'll be your extra goalkeeper. Don't see, I hope we have answered most of the questions. I don't see any other questions. Mike, Mary Claude.
No, I don't have anything else.
Nope.
Okay, Mary Claude.
Oh, I think just one more appeared.
Oh, one more. Yes. Second goalkeeper. Yes. Second goalkeeper. If you have 14, if you have 14 players, 1 and 13 are red. If you don't have 14, you have 1 as the goalkeeper and the other ones as field players. But if the one goes out, number 1 goes out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. can come in, but they have to use a red cap. So, and the caps are quite expensive, I think. Okay, I deeply appreciate it for everyone that showed up for the webinar. Okay, we're more than welcome. If you have any other additional questions, please feel free to ask us. I'll make sure that this webinar is available at the PAQ website. And please make sure that your federation shares the information with regards to future webinars. We're going to be updating our information, and we're going to update our videos, and we're going to keep you up to date with whatever new changes are in place. And hopefully we'll see each other before Medellin, May 20 to the 25th. Okay, deeply appreciate Mike and Mary Claude for their participation, and appreciate everybody. Hope you all have a good night, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Manuel. Good night, everyone.
You're welcome. Thank you all.